now my point for the costumes is to go have fun with friends and do my photo shoots with them. I like to do the photos and to show off all of my hard work that way instead, which isn't for everybody, kind of like the costume contests aren't for everybody. What else?
Well, I actually remember the old days in the 90s where if you were one of the 4 or 5 people who's not wearing an off-the-rack costume, you were by default one of the winners of the costume contest.
Wow.
And I have been to, back in the mid to late 90s, conventions where I was the only person in costume. And they're like, well, we were going to have a costume contest, but here's your prize money.
Back then it was like costume con years back in the 70s and 80s, and I remember like you were just a kid, regardless you were first place winner back then.
Wow.
Which is not the same, it's not like that anymore. But I started competing. I've gone to over 150 conventions. I started competing in 2001, as YuffieBunny said. Competing then wasn't because you wanted to just win the prize. It was an outlet so people can see who you are, and that was our social media back then, to enter the contest to get your name out there. And skits, if you guys don't know, is that people will perform as a character, and reenact a scene or make up a scene with their friends. It'll be silly, goofy, fun, hilarious, serious, sad, every type of thing you can think of.
It's a talent show.
It is a talent show. You'll have kids, you'll have Kefka for Final Fantasy VI playing the guitar, playing the final theme.
Yes, with a very wide diversity of talent levels and rehearsal levels and production quality.
If you can dedicate yourself into doing that, like I said, back then it was different. You could just go on stage and go, hi, I am Sailor Moon, fighting justice and things. And they'll be, yay, cool, they're Sailor Moon. Now it's different where skits aren't like that anymore. You have to go to rehearsals. You have to show that you actually made your outfit. You just can't, some contests you can enter with made, but most of them now you have to have made the outfit. You have to tell the judges how I made the outfit. This is my skit. Will the skit be approved to be on stage? Is it family friendly to go on? Is it PG-13? You have to go through a bunch of things now in order to just even perform for a 2-minute performance.
What's fascinating to me is you and I seeing at so many different cons. I'll do cons at like the New York Comic Con level where there are 6 digits worth of attendees there that weekend, or tiny weekend shows that are being hosted by an anime club at a college where 50 people show up, clearly by accident, and then you've got to stock the talent show with something. And sometimes it's blown me away by having a brother and sister combination just in matching colored t-shirts, and they have a tap dancing routine that they already have because they are tap dancing students. So they end up just blowing the competition out of the water for the fun of it. Someone has a song that they really want to do, and the arbitrary rules that get placed on as shows get bigger and bigger, and there actually ends up being a little bit of competition just to get into the competition, because you can only have 2-3 hours in a main event before people get tired and want to see the rest of the show, or people who have wonderful costumes that just don't have the chance to enter them in whatsoever. The arbitrary rules that get set on there are just to sculpt and narrow down what is still a hobby for fun. That's got to be the key. The moment it's no longer fun, do something that is fun and put your energy somewhere else. I had someone almost boot off of a stage in upstate New York because they just had random accessories on an outfit. They just had a random collar, a crazy eccentric belt, a massive headpiece that they had bought, but they did a wonderful acoustic version of I Put Your Picture Away. Had the audience in tears. And I thought, I could name 4 conventions off the top of my hand that would not even let her share that wonderful song and moment just because she wasn't in an official costume, but just have fun with it. And if it makes you happy, that's exactly why you're at the convention today. That's exactly why you left the house. You put the commitment to putting on pants, put through the commitment to having a good time.
Right now, earlier I'd mentioned cosplay is depicted in reality shows and such as highly competitive. Tell me a little bit about the way that popular culture. I'm sure that we've all seen episodes of CSI and Law and Order and reality TV that like to show us what those nerds are like at their nerd conventions. So tell me a little bit about what a lot of people think and what the realities are.
I get a lot of, is that what you do at those things? like a lot of like TV shows, they'll depict a cosplayer or an attendee, a heavy-set guy wearing a t-shirt with Superman and wearing another fandom and being a creeper, you know, so people will have the stigma thinking that's what conventions are like, which they're not. It is just, oh.
The big shift over the last 10 years is amazing, is the demographic has gotten away from post-college to college, high school, and even middle school and beyond. So you have a lot of younger teenagers bringing this excited young energy who bring in not just, they just don't go alone, they bring the whole choir or they bring the whole drama club out. And if they can coordinate a costume, all the better for them. And if they haven't, they'll find the rest of the costume and join together with that. We had a whole group of Teen Titans one year at Anime Next. They had all shown up to the convention completely separate, but because they recognize each other, there's Speedy, there's Robin, we've all got to there's a Starfire and a Raven in the corner, we've all got to take a picture together.
Hell
and we saw them next year, they're all coordinating together.
And about that demographic change, the origins of cosplay kind of date back to the late 60s, early 70s. If you can think about that first generation of Star Trek fans, those were some of the first fan cons, and people that they aren't necessarily photogenic or concerned with grooming and fashion, but they made their own Starfleet uniforms and went to a convention and hung around together and pretended to be members of Starfleet. And so that's something that, in a sense, it created a negative public image of the pudgy nerd in a homemade outfit. But it's also left a legacy of, a fan convention of people getting together to share.
Also, back in the day, do you remember, the demographic also for attendees was how many males versus females that would go to these. Now I feel like women have completely taken over conventions now. A lot of women and females were scared to attend them because they felt like, well, I don't want, that's how the shows are. I'm not going to feel safe and comfortable at these shows. But once they actually attend it, then they see it is for fun. That view is taken away.
Yeah, and I definitely, going back to how many different, people do cosplay now or attend the conventions, it's opened up. It's not just like that one stereotypical person you might see on like a, CSI or whatever. It's opened up. There's so many different people that go these days, so many different, shapes and colors, and it's great to see like how it brings everyone together, and I think people are seeing that these days, and that the other attendees are so supportive of seeing it. It opens up a whole new world for the people that finally go to these conventions and they see someone like them, no matter who they are, doing cosplay, and they're like, I didn't know I could do that. That's amazing. I want to do that now too. And it's great because it's really empowering everybody to just be comfortable with who they are. And it's really lovely.
Yeah, I actually, at the last couple of New York Comic Cons, they actually had a nail salon on the show floor. So, to show how the demographics have changed, 10 years ago, you would have never seen a long booth dedicated entirely to nail polish and cosmetics in the middle of Comic Con.
The woman at the con was there to pick up her son. That was the issue. And personal story was, so I've been doing stand-up and I've been doing anime conventions for 7-8 years. I can occasionally bring my family into the show, and they're grateful to see more of the response because they have no idea what I'm talking about. But there was one night when my father calls me who had discovered one of the reality shows about cosplay. Do you know some of the people on this show? I mean, moderately. We're not friends, but I've hosted events with them. Their work is very good. They need to leave her alone. She's working really hard, and she should win at the end of the season. Daddy, if you watch, they're clearly at two different conventions when they're talking. It's all staged. It's all scripted. It's all edited to make it a lot more. They're really lovely people. You should be nicer to her. She seems really nice. They are all nice people. There's no villain in the show.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting thing about the cosplay community. When you see, in New York City, all the local moose teams, they show 100 cosplayers and outfits in front of the Javits Center, and then you see the shot from the San Diego convention of another 100 people. Yes, and we're all friends on social media.
You'll eventually meet each other on social media, or if you like someone, you saw them on the news, you saw them online, you saw them in an article, you'll most likely find their Twitter handle. You'll find their cosplay page on Facebook, and eventually, if you go to enough shows, you will meet them themselves. You will make a friend that way.
Like Carl, I think one of your first shows was ShikariCon? I met you there. And the thing is, like, we didn't talk then, but circle of friends, we eventually became friends, actual friends.
Yeah, ShikariCon was at the Bucks County Community College in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, down the road from my parents' house. I stopped off to perform and MC that masquerade there before driving the half mile to my haunted house to perform that night.
Now, YuffieBunny, you actually told us a sweet little story about a fan. So can you just tell the audience that story?
Well, it was really cute. I had never thought I'd ever experience anything like this, so it's always weird to recall it. I was at Anime Expo all the way in California a couple of years ago, and I don't get out there too often, so I guess it was very exciting for this person. A teenage boy came up to me and very shyly, asked me, "Excuse me, are you YuffieBunny?" And when I said yes, this boy just burst into tears, and it was, it had me nervous because I was like, how do I react to this? Did I do something wrong? I'm sorry? And apparently he was just very excited to meet me because he loved all of the costumes I did. He loved seeing all the new photo shoots I would put out on my website and everything. And it was just so humbling for me. I was just like, I'm a nobody. I spend my weekend in my bed in my PJs watching Netflix. Like, why are you crying in front of me? Like, it was really sweet, and I felt, so connected to him because I've done the same to other people sometimes. Like, when I meet people I deem as celebrities or idols or heroes to me, there are some tears that start happening. I'm overwhelmed. I'm happy I'm meeting them, and it's sweet that we can look up to other cosplayers like that, because I certainly look up to a lot of other fellow cosplayers, and it's always amazing being able to meet them in person, and and to see how sweet they actually are in person. And I gave that boy like the biggest hug ever. I was just like, it's okay, baby, it's okay. Pat his back, he was just adorable, and it was, it kind of made me step back and be like, wow, like, people actually like me.
Right, and on that,
really like me.
Now we're almost out of time. Dokudel, Uncle Yo, any last thoughts?
Cosplay's fun. I wouldn't be in this crazy hobby for, if it wasn't fun. And I'm glad, I'm actually friends with all you guys. And I've met a lot of amazing people, and I hope to meet more people.
It's fun. Ditto.
Alright, and if you're interested in cosplay, at 5:15 tonight, we're going to have a huge cosplay fashion show. I don't know how many people, it's dozens of cosplayers, all in handmade outfits. It's going to be over on the main stage at 5:15. I'll be there in an outfit. I can't tell you what it is, but hint, it's twice as princessy as what I'm wearing now. And so, if you'd like to come and meet some cosplayers, you can meet more of us right over there on the main stage at 5:15. And thank you for coming today.
Thank you guys so much. Have a great day at Battersby.